Joshua Holt here with the Holt Real Estate Team, powered by Keller Williams Realty, your local real estate professional. I'm here with Abbey Welsh of Abbey Welsh State Farm. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Good. Absolutely, our pleasure. Well, we're here to talk a little bit more about you and your business and kind of learn a little bit more about, and tell us, how did you get your start in the insurance world?
Well, I started out with State Farm about 13 years ago, so that was definitely in the claims area.
Okay.
If you were to ask me 13 years ago if an agency or selling insurance was my cup of tea where I was heading, wasn't going to be the case. However, starting out in claims, I realized that everybody likes really good surprises. However, I was always the bad surprise. I shouldn't say always, but the common denominator in those bad surprises was somebody that may have been shopping on price and not necessarily knowing what their coverages were, and having that conversation of them finding out what they had for coverage at claim time. So those were hard days when I had to have those tough conversations of telling them that we've exhausted limits and assets have gone up at this point.
So then tell us, how did you decide to ultimately make the transition to owning an agency, and then also why Stoughton? How did you end up here in Stoughton, Wisconsin?
Yeah, so I traveled a little bit with State Farm. I started out in Lincoln, Nebraska as a intern with State Farm, and then I moved back to Milwaukee, and originally from a small town of Waterford, just south of Milwaukee. Graduated college here, started working in Milwaukee full time as claims, then moved back out for another opportunity in Omaha, Nebraska. Knowing family was here, it was one of those things, get away and realize what you had. Knew I wanted to get back to the Wisconsin area, so came back with State Farm as a field consultant. I worked with about 32 to 40 agents, getting them up and running on the sales training and the processes and what they should be talking to with clients. Knowing that, I was in Madison, loved the area. So my husband and I, he's from the western part of the state, I'm from the eastern part of the state, and this is really middle ground for us. And Stoughton is definitely that community that we grew up in. So it was definitely an easy fit for us to say Stoughton's home.
Excellent. Yeah, definitely a wonderful community, and
Yeah.
we're very lucky to have you here. You talked about your past with the claims and people that, oftentimes I know insurance is a very competitive industry, and you usually always hear about, company A could save you hundreds of dollars, or company B could save you all this money. But let's talk a bit about why that's really not the best way to shop for insurance.
Yeah, I actually, I tell most of my clients we've really hurt ourselves as an industry because we've become so competitive. It's price this and it's price that. Well, just like anything else, is cheaper always the best? Most likely not, right? You can go from the cheap end to the high end. Where's the middle ground? Any given day, insurance, one insurance company can be cheaper than another insurance company. But what it comes down to is what coverages you have. So auto insurance, you could just carry those state minimums of $25,000, $50,000 per accident, right? But we also know there's cars well over the $50,000 mark, and we also know medical bills go above that pretty quick. Same thing on the home side. You want to become whole again. So you have that home that you've spent a lot of time in. Well, you don't want to have it depreciated at actual cash value. You want something at replacement cost. So it's really not about price, even though we're all budget conscious of making sure that we're giving you the best fit that works for you. There really should be a custom quote for each and every person. And what it comes back to with insurance is making sure we're protecting your paycheck. Because if you don't have that paycheck, you can't keep on with the life that you're living.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, you talk about the importance of coverage. Let's talk a little bit about someone that is purchasing maybe their first home, and maybe they were a renter for a long period of time, and they're used to maybe how renter's insurance works. What are some of the key differences that someone should look at transitioning to becoming a homeowner?
Yeah, that's a great question, Josh. The big thing with becoming a first-time home buyer is we know that you're really starting to pinch pennies trying to get the most out of the home that you're buying, also trying to make sure that the down payment's taken care of and that first year insurance is taken care of. So we see a lot of clients and a lot of customers look at that bottom line price. Biggest thing is I always like to make sure that they know, one, what they have for a deductible. We're seeing a lot of policies out there that have 2 deductibles. 2, is it at replacement cost or is it at actual cash value? actual cash value is it's a double-edged sword, right? It keeps premiums low, but if that roof is 25 years old, we're depreciating it at 25 years old. So you have that hail damage and need a whole new roof, you might be only getting about $6,000 instead of the full $15,000 for the roof. So that's really a big one. The deductible is something else. I always like to say they might have a deductible for wind, hail, and weather, and then all other perils, so any other loss is a different deductible. Well, when it comes down to claim time and that tornado rolls through and a fire happens in your house because of a lightning strike, what came first? It's just like the chicken and the egg, right? What came first? Most likely the insurance company is going to go with that higher deductible. So with State Farm itself, we've always stuck to that one deductible plan where it just takes out the hassle. You know what you have, there you go.
Absolutely. And I know, obviously people know State Farm for the insurance, you see the commercials and so forth. However, you really offer a whole lot more than just insurance. What are some of the other things that folks can get from their local State Farm agent?
Yeah, I think one of the things that prides myself as a State Farm agent, and I know even peers of myself as well, is we've really become that educational force. So setting up workshops for maybe budgeting for that first car to buying that first home is one aspect that we do. The other aspect of it is we work in the financial service game as well, and that is probably one of our biggest hidden gems is our bank that we have. So we have a full line of bank products. We do vehicle loans, home mortgages, from all the way down to checking accounts and those student visas, those first-time credit cards too. Along with that, again, going back to protecting that paycheck, if your paycheck doesn't make it home because of an accident and you rely on that paycheck, we offer the life insurance. And then the other big one that's nobody really talks about is the disability. What's carrying you through if you cannot work for maybe a short term of 6 months or up to a year because of an accident or an illness.
Sure. Absolutely. All very good points there. A lot of services I didn't know that State Farm even offers.
Yeah, it's we're a hidden gem sometimes in the local communities that people don't know. And the nice part about it is we don't. There's no profit of us to look at. You don't have to come in with a certain amount of money or anything like that for us to be able to sit down and talk and figure out where you're at and what that action plan is. It also doesn't cost you anything.
Awesome. Excellent. So let's circle back to the Stoughton community. I know you're very involved in the community here. One of the programs that you do, the Holt for Good.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so being a local agent, one of the best things is we get to keep the funds in the community. So that, I think, is another differentiator in regards to companies, is if you're calling that 1-800 number, going for the cheapest price, what money's coming back to that community. So we just started, we launched our second Quotes for Good, and we're working with Fort Little Green right now until the end of June, and we're hoping to get their day camp kids down to the Field Museum down in Chicago for a field trip. So anybody that calls in for any type of quote, so if they're a State Farm customer and they call in for a different line of a quote, we are going to give back $5 per quote back to Fort Little Green. And then anybody that maybe never has had State Farm and they want to take a look at it, we're going to give that $5 back to Fort Little Green for every quote that we provide. It's a no obligations quote, so that's the nice thing about the whole thing is we just do a second look. We let you know if you have the coverage that you need, or we let you know that maybe this isn't the right coverage for you.
Sure.
So, but the cool thing is we're giving back to the community on that side of it. It tags along with State Farm's corporate grants that they like to keep back as a good neighbor.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to connect with you or your team to get one of those quotes, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to us online at insurestoughton.com. They also can reach us at 608-205-1204. We're also throughout the community this week, or this month I should say, we'll be at the Parade of Homes. We'll have a table there, and we are usually in the community as well. So they can walk in as well. We do have appointment sets, or you can just walk in to get the information.
Excellent. Well, Abby, I appreciate so much you taking time with us this morning.
Well, thanks for thinking about us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And once again, this is Joshua Holt with the Holt Real Estate Team. And of course, if you have any local real estate needs or questions that I can be of assistance with, you can always reach me at 608-345-6594, or you can always visit us on the web at homeswithholt.com. We're also on Facebook at Holt Real Estate Team. Look forward to talking with you again soon. Take care.